Hey YouTubers, it's Danielle here again. Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm not actually here with a flash review of any kind. I know that I said that I was going to be more consistent with videos after the crossover, and that is going to be more consistent. But I want to tie in my ideas and thoughts on this past week's Flash episode, along with all the new stuff that's coming in. So it's going to be sort of like a Flash Arrowverse Theory type of video. And I know that it's going to be really hard for me to do this type of a video because I am actually not watching Legends of Tomorrow, but there is a lot of stuff going on with Legends of Tomorrow right now in the Arrowverse. So I want to cover a little bit of that and give my thoughts and ideas on what's going on in the Arrowverse right now, because we have Titans coming up in January. We also have Black Lightning coming up in January. So I just want to make sure that I'm able to cover everything as much as possible. And I know for a fact that I figured out what I'm going to be doing for my videos for as far as after I get back into school and stuff like that, because I get back into school on the 16th, which is the day that the Flash comes back from its Christmas break, its winter break, whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to find a way to do videos on the Arrowverse without doing full-on reviews, because reviews take up a lot of time. They require me watching every single episode, and sometimes, I feel like the episodes, I don't even really want to review them that much, because even though I enjoy them, I don't know if I love them enough to review them so heavily. So I know how I'm going to do it now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be watching episodes in the Arrowverse, from Supergirl to Arrow to Flash to Black Lightning to Titans, and I am going to find a way to create theory videos and what I think could work for each series. So let me know if you guys like that idea in the comments down below. I think that'll be really different, and it'll be able to allow me to incorporate my favorite TV shows and reviews and stuff like that into this channel without it taking up so much time, because my new semester schedule is a lot of work. I have classes ending at 3 o'clock in the afternoon twice a week, so there is no possible way that I can upload a ton of review videos, but there is a way for me to be able to film videos so that way I can get them all up for you guys on this channel. Alright, so we're going to start with the Flash. So the Flash this season is actually going in a really good direction, and I'm liking the direction that they're taking with it, bringing in the elongated man. I actually do love Ralph Dibny. I know a lot of people are annoyed with him. They think that that they try too hard to make him funny, but I actually find him genuinely hilarious with the little bit of dirty humor that he sprinkles a little bit, because if you guys think about it, they're really trying to fuse together the elongated man with Plastic Man, and Plastic Man sort of has that dirty humor. So this is not the classic Ralph Dibny personality that everybody is used to. And this is before he met his wife, Sue Dibny. So keep that in mind, that as he goes on to become a better hero, his dirty humor and the fun that he's going to be bringing in is going to die down just a little bit, or at least his idea of fun. But at the same time, I'm actually kind of looking forward to seeing how they're going to bring Sue Dibny in, because there is a theory, I have a theory that they're going to bring in Sue Dibny with that identity crisis storyline that happened in the comics, but unfortunately that is a very controversial comic book. It's a very controversial storyline how they handled Sue Dibny's death, because so many people on the Justice League thought that her death was done by Dr. Light, who had sexually assaulted her, and their whole idea behind handling Dr. Light was to erase his memories. And of course Batman was like, no, don't do it, it's gonna end horribly. But they basically made Dr. Light in that comic book into a living vegetable, and he was basically no memories, no nothing. He was not evil. But then we find out that the person that murdered Sue Dibny was actually Ray Palmer, the Atom's wife, who was trying to find some sick way to get Ray Palmer back. So I'm hoping and praying to God that if they do an identity crisis storyline for Sue Dibny, that they do not handle it the way that DC handled it. because that is one of their more controversial storylines out there, along with so many others. I mean, I can think of so many controversial comic book storylines, like The Killing Joke, and I actually did read The Killing Joke comic where Barbara Gordon does get shot, and I do know for a fact that there was concern that she was probably sexually assaulted and that it wasn't handled well. Even with the animated movie, I just found it to be a bit weird that Batman and Batgirl were like kissing and having sex. Like, I just thought that to be really, really strange, and it was not fitting, because the Batman-Batgirl relationship is supposed to be like an uncle-niece, father-daughter type relationship, with Barbara having these multiple father figures, including Bruce Wayne and Jim Gordon. But moving on from like all the controversial comic book storylines that they could be bringing into the show that I hope that they handle better is going to be moving into why Wally West is leaving the show. Now, I know why a lot of people are pissy that Wally is leaving the show, but I think that there could be an open door for Wally, because there's rumors that he's joining the Legends of Tomorrow, and I personally do not like the idea of Wally joining Legends. I just think that they built up this idea of the Legends sort of being like this team of misfits and like these underrated heroes, like White Canary, the Atom. Like, they're misfits. They're not huge metahuman characters. They're sort of these tech-based characters that are extremely underrated, and they're going out of their way to make a name for themselves as legends. So I think that when they bring Wally West in, it'll be way too overpowered for my liking. But there is an idea or a rumor out there that John Constantine could be joining the Legends. He's going to be having a 2-episode story arc this season on Legends of Tomorrow. And even though I'm not watching Legends, and even though I have not watched a single episode of Constantine, I do love John Constantine as a character itself. Like, this is a character that's been through hell and back again. He fought the devil at his own game. He had a movie made about him. And in addition to that, he even had the TV show, which I never watched. But at the same time, I did see the one episode of Arrow where he was featured trying to save Sarah Lance by getting her soul back. So I think that the idea of bringing in John Constantine is going to be a really, really good fit for the show. He'll be a really good fit for Legends, but I do not think that Wally is going to fit into Legends very well. He won't mesh that well, I feel like, because if you think about it, having a speedster is already, like, overpowering. Like, the Flash is already an overpowered character, so that's why they had Wally leave the Flash TV show, because if they had him as an addition to all these other metahumans like Caitlin, Cisco, Ralph Dimney, and Barry trying to fight the Thinker, then it'll be way too overpowered, and it'll be way too easy to fight the Thinker. They're trying to make it a lot harder for Barry to outthink the Thinker. So having Wally leave the show is a good idea there, and it's a really good choice. And now let's go move into my next theory about Titans, because I am going to be watching Titans. I'm going to find a way to watch Titans. I feel like I'm going to love it because they have Dick Grayson, they have Corey, they have Rachel Roth. They have just about every character from Titans, and I'm going to be loving the direction that they're going to take with it. I saw the Robin suit leaked on Instagram, and oh my god, it looks so freaking amazing. Like, I was not expecting the Robin suit to look that badass, and this is Dick Grayson's story of how he transforms from Robin into Nightwing. So I'm actually really looking forward to see how they upgrade his suit over time and how things work around Bloodhaven. And I'm hoping that Bloodhaven is somewhere on Earth 1, because the reason why I'm hoping for that is because that can easily be a door for them to bring in Roy Harper, Colton Haynes, along with Wally West, Keenan Lonsdale. And there is a thing out there saying that Roy Harper is coming back to Arrow really, really soon. So if he's coming back to Arrow, then that will allow him to eventually join the Titans. So I really do want to see Roy and Wally join the Titans, because Dick Grayson, Wally West, and Roy Harper, that is the ultimate trio. It is the trifecta, and the three of them are best friends in the comic books. In fact, I believe Dick Grayson was Wally West's best man at his wedding when he married Linda Park. So I love the idea of Wally being brought over to Titans, and I did just watch Emergency Awesome Charlie's video on Legends for this season, as well as like his trailer breakdown and everything for it, and I understand why he can see Wally being on Legends, but I personally can't see Wally on Legends because he is a very overpowered character, so I want to see him on Titans with Roy Harper. I think that would be a much better fit. He'll mesh well with these kid superheroes, because the way how they're setting it up is that Wally is essentially a college student. He's a kid, and so is Roy Harper. He's a kid. So the whole idea of Titans was that it was this group of superhero sidekicks and like young vigilantes who were just starting out as like teenagers, like children, and they're growing up into this sort of adulthood and sort of coming of age into superheroes, and eventually that does lead into Dick Grayson becoming Batman. It leads into Wally West becoming the Flash. It leads into a lot of maturing and growing up stories for those characters. Now I have ideas of what characters they could actually bring into Titans. I'm actually hoping for Donna Troy, because they did a Themyscira Easter egg in Legends from what I've heard of, and if that means that they're bringing in Donna Troy, I would be really happy with that, because I do not think that the DC Extended Universe has any particular plans for Donna Troy right now, and once you bring in Donna Troy, comes in her romance with Roy Harper, comes in her friendship with Lilith Clay, who is a telepath. So I'm actually really looking forward to seeing how Titans rolls out. Now we're going to go all the way back to Flash. So with Flash, we have the Trial of the Flash coming up in January. Now they did kind of change it around, way different than the comic book. The comic book version of Trial of the Flash was Barry Allen snapping Eobard Thawne's neck, killing him before he could kill his fiancée and soon-to-be wife Fiona Webb at the altar, and then that led into Abracadabra manipulating basically the whole entire jury and the judge into believing that Barry was guilty of murder, when in reality he was stopping somebody from killing his fiancée, and I know for a fact that they weren't going to do it. So when I saw last night's episode and I saw that Clifford DeVoe had transferred himself into that metahuman Dominic's body, I was actually really shocked as to how powerful that was. He is working with Amunet Black. They're not in competition like they were in the comic books at all whatsoever. So the way how they're setting it up is that Clifford DeVoe transfers his consciousness into Dominic, the metahuman that was captured and brought to him by Blacksmith, and that gives him a whole new body to be able to have all this power coming from. And oh my god, that actually shows like his original body, his original body, that old man's body of like the professor, basically almost in a way not lifelike. And so the way how they set it up was that they planted that knife. They sent Barry a knife for like a house, for like a Christmas gift, like a wedding gift from somebody anonymous, like I believe they said it was from Kara or something, or anonymous. I could be wrong, I don't know, but I wasn't really paying attention as to who that knife was from. But it was one single knife, and Barry's DNA is all over it because he already touched it. So the way how they set it up was that Barry's DNA is on that knife. They send it to his house as a wedding present from somebody anonymous. He touches it, his DNA is on it, and they set it up with DeVoe's blood being on that knife and it being a complete murder scene in Barry's apartment. And that leads into the police arresting him, and that leads into the trial of the Flash. And I'm curious as to see how the trial of Flash is going to go, because as we know, there has to be some way for DeVoe to be able to manipulate the jury into believing that Barry is guilty. And I love the fact that they're bringing in Cecile Horton for this, and that she knows Barry's the Flash. They had to tell her at the end of last season, because she is actually Barry's lawyer in this episode that's to come in January. And ironically, Cecile Horton is the name of the defense attorney that is defending Barry the Flash at his trial. So basically, we have a lot of good stuff coming for the DC TV, and I'm going to be adding Black Lightning into the mix. I don't know too much about the character. I've never read a single comic book about Black Lightning, but I do know that his daughter, Anissa Pierce, I believe her name is, Anissa, she goes on to being part of the team that Roy Harper puts together called the Outsiders. So if this leads into an Outsiders TV show with Roy Harper, Dick Grayson, Anissa Pierce, all of them, then that could be a really good direction to take the show into. But obviously, they're going to have to add in Roy Harper's daughter, Leanne Harper. It's going to be depending on how they do that. But ultimately, this is my video of theories and stuff like that that's centering around the Arrowverse. I don't really have a lot of theories centered around, too much centered around Arrow, because there hasn't been much that I've seen or noticed with Arrow lately, but, ultimately, this is it, and this is going to be my video for the week. So if you guys like this video, you can comment down below and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys in my next video, which will probably be a review on Arrow, or it would be some type of a special holiday makeup tutorial on my channel, because now that all the shows are going to be going on winter break, I will have time for makeup videos and my Christmas wish list and all that fun stuff. So, yeah.